Laz Gutierrez obviously comes in like top starter for the year right now, Friday night starter. What have you seen from him since you've gotten here, and how has he kind of maybe set himself up for that role?
Yeah, I mean, instantly you know why he sets himself up for that role. He has a big league mindset. He's always out here wanting to grow, get better. He focuses on the right things. He concerns himself with the right things. He's been very impressive. He reminds me a lot of the guys that play at the highest level, and there's a reason why he's been successful here at the University of Miami, and it's very evident to me with his mindset and his attitude.
JD mentioned Rafe is going to be the number two this year. These guys mainly come out of the bullpen for Miami so far. How do you expect that transition to be to start across?
I don't see any hiccups or any bumps along the way, right? Aside from what any typical pitcher would face. We focus on keeping the same mindset, especially that mindset that he had the last month of the season, where he pitched extremely well for last year's club. So again, what are the adjustments we have to make solely from a conditioning standpoint, and ensuring that his arm is conditioned to pitch, more than a few innings a game.
From top to bottom, what excites you about this Christmas
I think from top to bottom, obviously our starting rotation. We have 3 weekend guys, 2 that are battle tested here at the University of Miami. Herrick Hernandez is a young man that we're extremely excited about, that had a great year last season for Miami-Dade College. What's interesting is that he's only been pitching for 2 years. So to be able to see him do his craft and not know that background, it's impressive, because there's a certain level of maturity that he shows or displays that's impressive. I think as you go down the pitching staff, the excitement about this young group of guys, very talented, good stuff, that just need to learn how to do it at this level, right? And there's a process to that, and that takes a little time, and hopefully that time is a little shorter than longer.
You guys have a very busy start to the year, 4-game series, and I think it's a Wednesday game. How do you, obviously guys aren't completely stretched out just at the beginning of the year, so how do you kind of manage a pitching staff kind of through that?
Yeah, we actually did stretch out more than our typical number, just so that we could be ready for this first weekend. And even the guys that have been stretched out, right? There's a pitch count to them that is not as long as it would be, just because it's the start of the season. So like we've told the boys, everybody's going to be up, and everybody needs to be ready to pitch.
Coach, part of your role with the team now is helping athletes develop their mental skills. Can you talk a little bit about what exactly that entails and what you do on a day-to-day basis with your guys?
Yeah, listen, the one thing I learned in professional baseball, or at least working at the major league level, that the true separator is the mindset, right? Or the ability to cope with stress and with pressure, perceived pressure. But the brain is like any other part of the body, right? And we need to train it. We need to ensure that the mental side becomes a proactive fundamental. So just like we practice our pitching, we practice, defense, hitting, we're trying to train the brain and the mindset the same manner. So we do mental skills work, early work, or we call it mental skills early work. Every week we do a mental minute just about every day. So again, trying to continue to condition the mind, and touching on it every single day, and ensuring that the kids are applying it, right? Like many times we don't think about the mental side until we're struggling, but we're trying to make them aware of how to utilize it as a tool, just like they would any other tool.
Anything else for Laz?
Coach, obviously with your roots at Coral Campus High School and here at the University of Miami, what's it like being able to be at the forefront of a new era of Miami baseball?
It's great. I mean, very lucky, very blessed. I feel that everything I've done up to this point, including being, a 12th grade American government teacher and a high school coach, and then short time at Barry, then that journey with the Red Sox, and even my short stop at Nova Southeastern University has prepared me for this moment. But I think more importantly, being able to not only work at my alma mater, a place that I care dearly about, but work alongside someone that I consider an older brother, someone that took me under his wing when I was a student athlete here. It's special. It's awesome.
Coach, what's it like to work with a head coach now that he's also a pitching-oriented coach? He's
Yeah.
been the pitching coach for a long time. He was also a pitcher here. So.
We joke about it all the time because we've always talked about pitching, and obviously our foundations, our origins probably come from similar places, having pitched here, and so the philosophies are very similar. But as soon as you start working alongside each other, you realize there are certain differences, and I think those differences play off each other and allow us to grow, and see maybe a different perspective that you hadn't thought about before. I think it wouldn't be productive if we all thought the same on every single situation. And I think that's one of the challenges of coaching at the college level, right? You're surrounded by the same people every single day, so it's very easy to create this groupthink mentality. So again, I think the different experiences, whether it's Darren, Jonathan, JD, myself, different backgrounds, but also there's some connection and similarities. I think that's allowed us to grow and maybe look at things a little differently.
Laz, I talked to JD in the fall. He said that he tried to stay away from the pitchers as much as possible to give you that autonomy with the staff. How was he successful at doing it? How was that?
He's been awesome, and I think he's done a little too much, to be honest with you. I not because he's my boss, but I value that. I value his insight. But it's been awesome. It's been awesome when we don't agree on certain things and being able to bounce off each other. Again, I think that's when real growth occurs. And I hope he thinks the same way. But this has been a last few months that I've been able to grow and look at things differently in certain areas, and I hope that I've done the same for him as well.
JD mentioned, I think last week, kind of like having more people or having people focus on analytics. So what analytics do you like to bring in? Your coaching. Do you like to use high-speed camera stuff, spin rate data, stuff like that?
Yeah, listen, there is nothing. We're not missing anything here. I mean, I go back to my days with the Red Sox. I mean, everything that we had there, and at that point in time, we were a very progressive organization that was looking at not only analytics but sports science and trying out new technology that has become mainstream now in the game. There's nothing that we're missing here. I think the administration and JD have provided every tool that we need, but again, this is baseball, right? So it is a tool. And so to answer your question directly, I think technology, data, we could use it in three different aspects. Acquiring talent, right? Especially now with the portal where it's such a fast-paced decision-making process where we have to make decisions. Well, the best part of looking at portal kids is that there's a performance history in place, right? And so what are the data points that we value as a program that allow us to identify that talent that we're interested in? When you look at advancing, right, being able to scout your opponent and have more than baseline information and see some tendencies that are identified by our analysts do give you an advantage, right? Can give you an advantage, I should say. The kids still have to go out and perform. And I think the last part is development, right? And I think where you see it most in development is in providing feedback. But not only the coach to the player, right? Because I think coaches have always done that. But being able to sell it a little better because, hey, this is what the data is showing. But also the player being able to understand when I perform in this manner, when I meet my objective, the performance output is what I need it to be. This is what my body feels like when I'm doing that. This is what the mechanics feel like. So I tell the kids all the time, instead of chasing these data points, whether it's velocity, spin rate, chase the feel of what led to those data points. So I think it's created a learning and coaching environment that's extremely beneficial.
Awesome. Thanks, Les.
Yep.
Thank you.